One of the most frequent questions that I get is, hey Alan, what do I do for my new sod? Now, some of you're asking that question because you're doing the sod yourself, and others you're asking because someone else is laying it for you and you want to know the best way to take care of it afterwards. Now in this video, I'll answer all that for you, and the process, it's exactly the same for all grass types, north and south. Putting it down and establishing the new sod works exactly the same for Kentucky bluegrass as it does down here for St. Augustine. But before we get too far into it, the sod that I'm sitting in here, it's the darkest green St. Augustine grass on the market today, and it's called Viridian. It's available here in Florida as well as in Texas and South Carolina, with new farms coming online every single month. I installed mine in December, and today we're making this video. It's late March, and as you can see, it's thriving. It also has a little slower growth habit, so you don't have to mow every 3 days like you do with the Hydretain back behind me there. And that also comes along with improved cold and shade tolerance. So if you're looking for the deepest, darkest green St. Augustine grass that you can grow all the way up into North Florida and even in South Georgia as well as parts of Texas, I'll give you a link below to where you can get linked up with a grower closest to you. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna need to do is remove the existing lawn. Now, it might be a nice lawn like mine was, or it might be full of weeds, but the process is still the same. You need to use a sod cutter. Now, I'm gonna tell you, you do not want to kill off the existing lawn first, because dead grass and weeds, they get very rubbery and they make the job twice as hard. All you need to do is fire up the sod cutter and remove the existing lawn as it stands. And I'll just say, it doesn't matter how young or how strong you are, I recommend hiring this part out. Running a sod cutter, it's the worst job on the planet. I'd rather do crab fishing on the Bering Sea in shorts and a tank top than run a sod cutter anywhere in the world. You can see this crew of guys here, they were struggling to get my sod removed at my house. Now, obviously, I have one of the thickest lawns in America, so there's that. But still, this is not a job that you want to take on yourself, and if you do, make sure you have a friend to help you run it. You can rent sod cutters at tool rental shops like Home Depot or Lowe's, as long as you have the trailer to move it and a friend to help you run it. Now here's one more reason why it's important and necessary to rent a sod cutter. So oftentimes people will ask when it comes to this type of grass, why don't you just scalp it down with your mower and then sod on top? And the reason is because the sod comes with its own little bit of soil. It's 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, sometimes thicker, but this is about 1.5 inches of soil. And so if I was just to scalp the lawn down and then put this on top, I'd actually be 1.5 inches higher than my curb height here. And so that's why you use a sod cutter, because the sod cutter not only removes the old sod, but it also removes that same 1.5 inches of dirt. And you can see that's why we have this lip here, because that's the extra 1.5 inches as the sod cutter came through. It removed the grass and 1.5 inches of sod. So when we put the new sod in, it marries up right with the curb here and it doesn't stick up too high. So that's exactly why you have to use a sod cutter to cut everything out. So that way your finished height is the same. For laying the sod, it's pretty simple actually. You just want to make sure that you have the pallets dropped as close to your work area as possible so you don't have to carry the pieces too far. You'll see the crew that I hired here, they had machinery that allowed them to bring the pallets right up to the work area. The idea is to work smarter, not harder. This 2,500 square foot job took 6 hours total, 4 hours to remove the sod and rake everything smooth, and 2 hours to lay it. Here's an illustration of how and why to lay the sod in a running bond pattern. All right, I want to show you, people ask how to lay out sod. You want to do it in what's called a running bond, which is what you do bricks in. And you can kind of see it here, you can see the edges, the running bond, but let me show you what that does. So if we pull this one over and expose it, you'll see that's a seam right there. But there's no seam here. And that's what running bond does. And the reason you do that with sod is because as your seams close up, now this is St. Augustine, so it's pretty thick. You can't see the seams anyway. But as the seams close up, if they were all lined up all the way down, you'd see long lines going through. But when you do the running bond like this, it just helps the seams to hide each other a little bit easier. And so as you put the next one in, you'll see you're gonna drop it there, kick and go. The next one will come in right here, kick and go, and you can see I just created a seam right there, but there's no seam right there. And so that's what you do, running bond with your sod to help the seams to seal up a lot quicker and not show. A required tool to have on hand is a good machete. This is what you're going to use to cut in spots that are not perfectly square or that don't take up an entire piece. You're basically using the machete to cut out custom pieces to fit in the puzzle of your new lawn, and it's tons of fun. And the final step is to roll it. These guys, they had a machine that's made specifically for this purpose. And the reason you want to roll the sod is to ensure that the bottom of each piece is in contact with the soil below. We don't want any air gaps, as that will slow down and stunt the rooting process. It can also leave lumps in the finished lawn. If you get new sod and it turns out all lumpy, chances are it wasn't properly rolled right after installation. And again, I do want to remind you, this process I've had laid out here is exactly the same for sod up north and down south. All right, so that was the entire installation portion of the video. I'd like to thank Mike and his crew from Scape Innovations for their excellent work out here. They were fast and efficient and left the job site clean and neat when they were done. They're a professional outfit all the way around. Based in Arcadia, I'll leave their information below if you'd like to hire an installer for your job. Now, at this point, we're only about halfway through. All the labor is done, and now it's time for all the spraying and praying and to get the sod established. All right, y'all, so it's the very next day, but I want to tell you everything we're doing in this video, you probably should do on the very same day, right away. And what we're going to do today, number one, we're going to talk about watering, because that is the most important thing with new sod, any new sod, not just this brand new Viridian, not just St. Augustine grass, but any sod. Watering is the most important thing. And then secondly, what do we put on it to give it the best start possible? We're going to go over that. But first, let's go and take a look at the watering, and let me show you how to water new sod and how you know if you're doing it right. Let's get out to the brand new lawn. All right, so how long do you water? Well, let me show you. I've just finished a watering session, and what you're gonna do is after you finish, you're gonna go out and you're gonna check several places. We're just gonna go right here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lift up the sod, and what you wanna find is that the bottom side of the sod is wet, and below the soil, existing soil beneath, is wet also. Not like puddled and run off or anything like that, but like cake batter wet. Moist would be a good word, like that. If it's wet underneath, that means you're watering long enough. If it's dry underneath, that means you need to take your watering up longer. We want the water to penetrate through the grass, through the existing root system and soil that it came with, and to the soil below, because that encourages the roots to follow the water down. And so that's what you do. You check several spots after you're watering, and if you find dry areas, you need to take the watering up. Or if you have areas where it's dry but it's good everywhere else, those are the areas that you're gonna hand water to supplement. That's how you water. Twice a day right now is what I'm doing. 3 times a day if you want to. You just got to kind of monitor. But the thing is every time you do water, you want the water to soak all the way through. Okay, now the next most important thing is fungicide, especially here in the winter. Large patch Rhizoctonia is a big deal in St. Augustine grass and zoysia especially. And also my front lawn is extremely shaded right now because of the low sun. The sun is very low in the sky because it's winter. And so that shade condition, man, it just creates the perfect storm for Rhizoctonia. So you want to put down fungicide. I'm actually going to use some Armada. I got videos that I've done on this. I'll link below. But listen, if you want something at the store, go and get Scott's DiseaseEx. This is a Scott's product. Scott's DiseaseEx is azoxystrobin. It's a strobilurin fungicide. It is excellent on Rhizoctonia. So just get that if you want store-bought. Again, I'm using this. I'll link below to it. You could also get azoxystrobin in the liquid form if you want. Lots of videos on fungicide. So we're not going to show you necessarily how to mix all this up right now. Like I said, I've got videos on that, but for now, I'm just letting you know that it is extremely important to get a fungicide down right away. All right, now the next thing you're going to do, well, actually, let me put a little water in there. It's wintertime, I'm a little off. Used to showing you guys how to do all this stuff. Like I said, we got videos to show you how to do it. So, all right, we're gonna get a little water in there, get that agitated. I'm doing 2,000 square feet, so not too much of a big deal here. There we go. Okay, now next, the next most important thing. People ask, do you need starter fertilizer? I actually am not a big fan of starter fertilizer anymore. I feel there's enough in the soil that came with the sod. So we don't need any NPK necessarily, but what we do need is Sea Kelp. Sea Kelp pushes roots. I've done stuff on that before. So with that, we've got CK you can use, which is highly concentrated Sea Kelp, excellent product. Most of you already have RGS though, root growth stimulant. So you could use this. This would be 6 ounces per 1,000. Me, I'm gonna use spoon juice. And you're gonna find this year, in the year of 2025 coming up, we're gonna talk a lot more about spoon juice. This is the best kept secret. This can be used for almost everything, including starting sod. It's got 2% Sea Kelp, a little bit of nitrogen, a little bit of potassium, a little bit of other stuff that I like because I like that stuff. So 6 ounces per 1,000 is what we're gonna go with on the spoon juice. And again, you could use RGS if you want, or CK or anything else with Sea Kelp in it. 6 ounces per 1,000. We've got 2,000 to do there. Well, it's actually about 2,500 because we did a parkway and stuff. So we're gonna get the spoon juice in there nice and easy. And again, it's the Sea Kelp is the main thing that we want here, but I like to put a little nitrogen on there because why not? Again, I'll give you links to all this stuff below. All right, y'all, I got all this mixed up and ready to go, and I forgot to put in the Hydretain. Right? I mean, Hydretain moisture manager, we're putting down all this water. We might as well make it go further. Hydretain is excellent for new seed, but also sod. So this is in a 9 ounces per 1,000, and this is a one-time application here. So here we go, 9 ounces per 1,000. Okay. There we go. Now we got everything we need. With the old Hydretain in there. Now we can go to the montage, Nick. So that was everything that I did in the first 2 days. Keep in mind, I applied that fungicide and that spoon juice and that Hydretain the day after the sod went in, and you should too, but you could even apply it on the same day, right after the sod is laid and rolled. Get that down and get it watered in. It's just that important. All right, y'all, so here at the end, I'm gonna answer some frequently asked questions. So first of all, you saw that I recommend fungicide, a Sea Kelp product, and Hydretain as soon as the sod is laid. Now, I do recommend hitting the lawn a second time with the Sea Kelp product about 2 to 3 weeks after that. You'll find that in all of my yard mastery programs, I recommend Sea Kelp biostimulant pretty much every month anyway, even on existing lawns. But for sure, when you've got the new sod down, hit it a second time 2 to 3 weeks after it's laid, which is right when the roots are really starting to push down, and that Sea Kelp will really make a big difference. For the fungicide, if you do want to apply a second application of that 30 days after the initial install, that's a good idea, especially if you're planting a disease-prone type of turf, such as St Augustine, zoysia, or turf type tall fescue. Another question that comes up is, can or should I apply insecticide on sod day? And the answer is, you can, it's not going to hurt anything, but just be logical about it. So for example, if you're worried about grubs, grubs feed on roots. Well, there's no need to apply a grub treatment on the day that you sod because there's no roots yet. So wait about 30 days and then apply your grub treatment. However, if your neighbors have had a problem with surface feeding insects like sod webworm or maybe armyworm, then sure, it's definitely a good idea to apply an insecticide right on sod day. And it will not interfere with the sod rooting, and it will not interfere with any of the other applications that you did. I'll link below to a video I did that tells you what you can mix together or what you can apply on the same day. I'll link it up there in the eye for you. All right, so another question I get a lot is, when can I start treating my new sod like it's a regular lawn? So if you drop your sod in the midst of the growing season, which for cool season lawns, that's going to be spring or fall, you should see rooting beginning within about a week or so. And for warm season, your midst of growing season would be late spring into summer, and you'll see rooting within just a couple days. Now, so for all grasses, within about 2 to 3 weeks, you should no longer be able to pull the sod up. And within a month, it should be fully rooted and able to be taken care of, just like any other lawn with regular fertilizers and biostimulants. One caveat though, for warm season turf, no pre-emergent until it's gone through at least one full growing season. That is because stolons and rhizomes are pushing through, and the pre-emergent can stop them from tacking down. Pre-emergent's not going to kill the lawn if you do it. If you do it on accident, don't worry about it. All it will do is it can just inhibit the stolons from tacking down, which eventually they will anyway. For cool season lawns, you can begin using pre-emergent once the lawn is fully rooted and it's been mowed twice. But again, to reiterate, when it comes to fertilizing your new sod, this is for all grass types, you can begin fertilizing regularly after 30 days. And then the final question I get is, when should I start mowing? And the answer is, you can start mowing whenever you can no longer pull up the sod, so probably around that 2 to 3 week, if it needs it. Now, if it doesn't need it, don't get out there and walk on it any more than you have to. But if it does need it because it's growing really fast, we don't want to break the 1/3 rule, especially on our new sod. We don't want to get it started on the wrong foot. So as long as you can no longer pull it up again, if it needs to be mowed, go out and enjoy the mow and give it a fresh cut. All right, y'all, that's all I got for you on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments and questions below. Hit the like button while you're down there. And as always, I'll see you in the lawn.